indicate with the help of round brackets. As in list, we use square brackets, which can use round brackets, and item could be like separated by using command by default. We'll be creating a tuple and the tuple, and also we'll check the data type of the tuple. We have printed and we have printed the data type answer. And this tuple also, it also allows duplicates. Whatever the data structure that are supporting the indexing format, right? So those of them allow duplicates. Okay, and okay, please share an example where we will use a tuple. So, for example, like you are, let's say you are writing some code for a particular banking areas kind of software, right? So, tuple will be used where you have to store a data where no one can access it, or you don't have the necessity to change that, or like for a constant value. For example, let's say your date of birth, right? So you want to store in a banking software code your date of birth or the customer's date of birth. At any point of time, you won't be updating a value of date of birth, right? Your age that will change year by year, but your date of birth remains same till the end, right? And similarly, your account number, it will not change. You can change your address, you can change your city, you can change your balance. Your account number will not change. Your unique Aadhaar ID, those kind of unique IDs, you can store it in the form of a tuple, which you won't be having any necessity to change. Okay. And let's try to do the basic operations in the tuple. Like as I said, if this follows the same indexing rules also applies here. Like if you want to print only the first item, give tuple name square bracket 1. Okay. So let's say I'm just trying to add some operations in the tuple. Let's say I will say an append function. This function is not available in tuple. I try to do this, it will show me an error like tuple object as new attribute like append. So the functions are not supported by default. So there will be any tuple function or insert function. Or let me try to update. Like I'll use this.
Meenakshi, sorry to disturb, but your voice is not clear actually.
Okay, just a minute. Let me reconnect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, is my voice clear now, guys? Still same issue?
It is now clear. It is.
Yeah, now it's clear, Meenakshi.
Okay. Now it's clear.
Okay. I'll share my screen. So let's say if you want to print the first item, you will be just giving the tuple name and the index number. It will print that item. So that indexing purpose, it will work. Let's say I want to update the first index number. It is having 2 as a value. I just want to update this with orange. So I am using this update method which we tried in list. So you are again facing the error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So you won't be able to add item, even the del function or pop function, remove function, nothing work here. But there is a workaround. You can convert a tuple into a list, then change the list. Like you can do anything in the list, right? You can change the list and again convert it back into a tuple. By officially, it is like you are changing the list only. But if you have a tuple in your code, and by default or by some reasons you just want to add, if there is maybe any spelling mistake or something you want to change that, in that case This is the workaround. You can convert it into a list. How to convert a tuple into a list? Now let's say we have a tuple T1. I want to convert into a list. So this is same like type conversion, data type conversion. You want to convert it into an integer, you will use int function, right? Similarly, you want to convert it into a list, use the list function and then tuple name. So I'll give the list name here as L1. Now let me print L1. So here I have converted the tuple into a list. Now I am using the list. You will be able to do the changes, right? I can change the data 2 into some other number, and then I'll just print L1 again. As I have changed it, now I want to convert it back into tuple. How to do that? Just use the same function. So T1 is equal to tuple function within bracket the list name which you want to convert. Now finally, if you print the tuple, your items will be changed, but literally this is the list that you got converted. So this is the workaround which you can use in case of emergency if you want to change any items in your tuple. Okay, and this is unchangeable, or in other words you can also called as immutable, whereas in other data structures like list are mutable means you can change it, you can modify your list, but immutable means you won't be able to add, delete or do anything in your list. Okay, and you have seen the conversions of the tuples, right? So let me try the delete option. Okay, so this is only thing that it allows. Okay, let's say I'll give, before deleting, let me try to add two tuples. So we have T1 already. I will create a tuple called T2 with some numbers. I'll use the same join function here. Let me try with T1 is equal to T1 plus T2. So now again it act wherever this plus operator we use in between the data structures, right? It will act as a concatenating operator, like a joining operator. So it will just combine two tuples. Okay, and let me try to like delete the tuple. Let's say we have a tuple T2, right? I'll just give del T2. I will try to print T2 again. Obviously, it will create error because it would have deleted. It would have deleted the whole tuple. Okay, and one more thing in this tuple we have, like we try to create empty list, right? Similarly, let's try to create empty tuple. Yeah, accessing items in the tuple is same as the list. It also follows indexing, right? So you can use the index number to access items in your tuple. Like you can use the same indexing which we did in previous data structure list. That's why I have not explained the indexing part here. You just give the index number, tuple name in square bracket, give index number or give some range, or use a for loop for every item in tuple print I. Everything is same as list, the indexing. So whenever I say ordered, that means it follows indexing. Okay, that's why it is able to allow the duplicates also. So since even if you give 232 number in your same tuple, the first 32 will be in separate index number, second 32 will be in separate index number. You will be able to access the items only by using the index number, right? So that doesn't create confusion for the Python. So it will allow duplicates. And now let's try to create an empty tuple and now run it. Okay, it's a tuple. Let me create we have already created an empty list, right? Let me create a list with only one item. Print L1 and type of L1. Okay, it's a tuple and it's a list. Now, let's try to create a tuple with only one item. Let me create, let's say, tuple 1 is equal to, I am trying to create a one item tuple. I'll just create this. I'll create a few more tuples. I've added an integer. Let me add some Boolean one item tuple. Let me add some string. Let me add a list as well. Get a tuple. Okay. Now I have created, let's say, 5 different kinds of one item tuple. Let me use a type function to check the data type of this. Okay, now we have 5 different one item tuple. Okay, and we are going to check the data type of the all the 5 one item tuple. Okay, see, it is not considering it as a tuple. Even if you try to create a tuple with only one item, it is taking that as its own data type. It's integer, float, boolean, string, and list. But what is a way that we can create a tuple with only one item? There is one way. What you have to do is, if you are creating a tuple with just only one item, you don't have to add another item, just add a comma at the end. It is still one item tuple. You are just adding extra comma so that the Python will understand that it is a tuple because you are going to create a one item tuple. So this is how you'll be able to create a one item tuple. Okay. If you create it without comma, it will be considering as the separate data type like what we have done. Okay. And let's say is another way to create a tuple also. Like you can create a tuple even without using the round brackets. Let's say I have a, I have one. If I check the data type of a, what will happen? Print type function of a integer. Okay, I give one comma. Let's say what happens. It's a tuple. See, even if you don't give the brackets, you give comma and you try to store multiple values to a single variable like this, it will be considered as a tuple by default. Okay, so this is how you create single item tuple and a multiple item tuple without using the brackets. Any questions or doubts till now, guys? In tuples, we don't have the basic addition, removal, or updation operation. You can delete the entire tuple, but not a single item. Any questions in tuples? Shall we move on to the next data structure? Okay, we'll start by 12:40 so that 5 minutes of time you can have a workaround with tuples in your spider. Let me know if